Imagine a young boy who likes to live life in the moment. He doesn't worry about the future because it'll all work out in the end, right? The thing is, he doesn't think about the future because he's scared. He has absolutely no idea what he wants out of life or what is wanted from him. He thinks one day he'll just have an epiphany that he wants to become a doctor or a lawyer or start a business. To find your purpose, you need a vision for your life. What do you want out of life? It's human nature to follow the crowd. But to succeed, you cannot simply go with the flow. You need to find your unique strength because that is what gives you purpose. This young boy is me. And this is how I found my passion, my purpose, through robotics. Don't you just love it when your parents strongly suggest that you take part in an activity? Well, my mom thought it would be a great idea for me to take part in the Robotics Academy. I listened to her reasons and decided I'd give it a shot. In the end, I was really glad that she pushed me to participate. The branch of robotics that I take part in is Vex. Vex Robotics Tournaments are held every month, starting in September. First off, what is a Vex Robotics Tournament? It's a series of matches where two robots that form an alliance go head-to-head against another alliance of two robots. You may be thinking, BattleBots. My robotics teacher despises when people quickly come to this conclusion. It is not. Please, it is not. What it is two alliances, each trying to score more points than the other. I went into robotics with minimal experience. Everyone else around me seemed to know what they were doing, and I felt that I would never become as good as them. Students were grouped into teams of 3, and everyone on my team was completely inexperienced. Our goal was to qualify for provincials, and we were so close. In March of last year, 3 teams qualified for the World Championships in Kentucky, 1010B, 1010N, and 1010X. I was given the opportunity to help support one of these teams, and it was one of the best decisions of my life. Everyone had to have a clearly defined role, but at the time, I was planning on going and not really having much of a purpose. I was scared. I didn't want the pressure of messing up at such an important event. You may feel this too sometimes, that you don't want to leave your comfort zone to do something you're unfamiliar with. But leaving your comfort zone could lead you to something amazing. For the World Championship, each team had 8 members: drivers, a builder, a coach, and scouts. I was assigned the role of scouting. This is essentially doing research on the different teams that you'll be competing against at the tournament. At first, I didn't take much interest in it. It was constant work and somewhat tedious. The role of a scout is to conduct research on the teams you'll be competing against so that you can strategize, as well as the teams you'll be allied with so that you can see how well you would work together. We then compare this data for each match. For example, we would spend a large amount of time strategizing with an alliance partner for a more difficult match, whereas for an easier match, we would spend less time strategizing with our alliance partner. We also research the other teams in the division to see which teams are the best teams so that we can share our strengths in hopes that they would choose us as an alliance partner. At first, I just followed the examples of the other 2 teams that were also going to Worlds. Then I realized that for my team to do well, we needed someone to step up. I took a leadership role as the head scout of 1010B, assigning roles to the other 3 scouts on the team. I also realized that my team needed a different approach, so I created strategies based on their needs. I knew my team best, so I knew what information would be useful for them and what information would be overlooked. What may have seemed like a jumble of numbers to some people was, to me, straightforward. By committing to my role, I grew. This was the first step into finding my purpose, and I couldn't have done it without my team. I did well at Worlds as a leader in scouting, and the people on 1010B noticed the work I'd done. They appreciated the effort I'd made, knowing I had limited experience, and valued the work I'd done, enough to recruit me for the following year. For the past 2 years, robotics has had an enormous influence on my life. There are a few skills that are important in succeeding in the Robotics Academy, one of them being collaboration. You need to be able to work with others. After competing in multiple robotics tournaments, I learned that although you need to be able to rely on your team to create a good robot for competitions, you also need to be able to learn from those around you. Exploring multiple perspectives is how you grow as a team. I've learned that one of my strengths is collaboration. So even if I had no experience with robotics whatsoever, I still had something valuable to contribute. The creation process of these robots follow intricate designs that take into account every single aspect of the game. How you want to score points, what teams you'll be playing against, what teams you'll be playing with, and so on. Oh no. Oh well, that happened. But anyway, this is the robot that I brought with me, which my team and I have been working on for the past few weeks. I call him Beanie. This is the robot we were planning on bringing to provincials, and for some reason isn't working. But that's okay, I guess. For this robot to work, it needs a few different things. One, for it to be turned on. Anyway, first we need, let's start with the base. The base is what keeps everything together. Our builder, Artem, is in charge of making sure that we have the base so that we can do everything that we wish to accomplish in a match. Then we have the wheels for mobility, which I can't move, but that's fine. And that's controlled by our driver, Daniel, who makes sure he knows how to move for the most optimal results during matches. Then our programmer, James, is the motor of our team. Without a motor, a robot can't move, as you can see here. And also, without James, we wouldn't be able to perform any functions. You could have the best robot with the most amazing code and the best possible driver, but without knowing what you're going up against and knowing which strategies to implement during matches, it's like you're going in blind. That's where I come in. I was the team's eyes, gathering intel and strategizing for the best possible results during matches. Though some other teams didn't use scouts, I realized that it gave a major advantage. Another key skill was communication. I realized that our team needed valuable information that would actually help us in competitions, rather than just endless data that made sense to one member. So I created formulas. I wanted to make sure that the spreadsheet was simple enough that anyone would be able to understand it and its purpose. Its purpose being that to help us for our upcoming matches. And what helped was not endless data. Here we have the spreadsheet that I created before Worlds, and it consists of a large amount of statistics that doesn't really make sense to most people. Obviously, it's basically just a mess. I knew that this wasn't what my team needed, and it wouldn't help them. And that's why I created the following. As you can see here, this is how I condensed all of the information that we had collected on all the different teams. And it made it so that it would be that you could understand it. And I predicted how well we would do during matches, and it was relatively accurate. What helped was information that was easy for everyone to understand, so that we could use this information in our game strategy. This is how I found my purpose. I had a set of skills that added value to my team. Your purpose is dependent on you, but the people around you influence how you find that purpose. It's an individualized aspect of your life that needs to be decided by you, but doesn't happen in isolation. You might remember I started off the journey unsure, thinking I had nothing to contribute, and reluctant to move out of my comfort zone. Being a part of 1010B, even though I thought I had nothing to contribute, helped me to figure out my purpose. We shouldn't be scared of trying new things, because that helps us find our purpose, develop as people, and contribute to society. You just need to remember to stay true to your vision and values. It's also important to know what to do with your skills once you identify them. We live in a knowledge society. A knowledge society creates, shares, and uses knowledge for the well-being of people. In his convocation address at the Aga Khan University in 2006, His Highness the Aga Khan stated that a knowledge society means embracing the values of collaboration and coordination, openness and partnership, choice and diversity, learning constantly to review and revise and renew what we think we know, learning how to go on learning, unquote. I embraced collaboration, partnership and openness, valued diversity, and realized I still have a lot to learn. However, I also realized that I have a voice to contribute to the world of robotics. My experience with robotics has led me to my purpose on that team. And I think life is about this journey of continuously finding your purpose, wherever you are, staying true to your vision and values. Everyone here has a skill. Maybe you're a really good singer. Maybe you can make really compelling arguments, or maybe you are really great at making people laugh. Maybe you don't know what that skill is. At the end of last year, I had absolutely no idea that I would be interested in the research aspect of scouting. But the truth is, to find your purpose, you cannot simply wait for it to come to you. You need to go out there and search for purpose in something that you love. Maybe you already know that your purpose is to find the cure for cancer or develop the next major breakthrough in technology. But for those of you who don't know, keep searching. And I can assure you that you will find purpose in whatever it is that you choose to do. Thank you.